Hi everyone, it's Vanessa from Heart and Soul Transformations in Australia. And today this video got a topic quite dear to my heart and something that I've really been working on over decades in my different stages of mastery, and something that I encourage all of my clients and friends to really have a look at. And that is justifying and apologizing. Now at the moment, so it's February 2020 that I'm making this video, there's such a huge shift in our consciousness and in our rising of speaking our truth, being our truth, being all that we are in each moment. And doing all of it, or as much of it as we can, unapologetically. And, memes go around on social media all the time about, living an unapologetic life and boundaries and all of these things. Yet we are constantly tested to some degree about apologizing or justifying. And my team wanted me to make a video because, this has been on my mind quite a lot. And actually, probably September last year, I was hoping to do a video and just didn't come together, and I'm like, okay, so I just let go. And I just remember the team saying things to me that I felt like everybody needed to hear. And it was things like, stop apologizing and justifying for being busy, for being successful, for your wild heart and your wild spirit and your free spirit. Stop apologizing for your passion and your desires and your creativity. Stop apologizing for your quietude, your need to be introverted or retreat, for wanting sacred time, for wanting peace and quiet. Stop apologizing for being colorful, loud, bright, bold, audacious, to seek pleasure, to want more from life. Stop apologizing and saying sorry for the most random, irrelevant things. Every time people are doing this, they're apologizing for their whole self. It's the difference between when you really physically hurt somebody, or there's an accident, or I often use the example of, if you're at the shopping center and you run up the back of someone's ankle with the shopping trolley, that's a good time to say sorry, but you didn't do it on purpose. Well, I hope you didn't do it on purpose. But for all just very simple everyday things, I see women in particular just doing this. And for so long, I've spoken to some friends and they've made some great groundbreaking breakthroughs with this, and clients. And I'm just really conscious of people apologizing. And I used to be that person. But I also got really present to how I felt like I was justifying myself too over the last 6 months, just for little things. But the little things accumulate, and you have a look and you see that they still all come from the same essence, the same foundation. Where are we needing to justify why we do things, when we do things, when we don't want to do things? Being able to have that power of voice, but not just voice to say no or to say yes, that power of the heart, of the soul, of the divine self, and that expression to go, no, this is not okay, or this is who I am, like it or lump it, but without having to justify who we are. Just think for a moment and, think of which people in your family, perhaps friends, boss, co-workers, and have a look at where you're always justifying and what you're justifying. Where does it come from? Is it from a lack of belief, of self, from a need to be a people pleaser, to be the good girl, the good boy, do the right thing? Because of course, if we step out of line or do something that's not the norm or expected or dutiful, then it's wrong. Therefore, we're wrong. Therefore, we're bad. When we're polarized beings, We're going to do things, say things, believe things, want things, not want things that other people aren't going to agree with. And it's really important that we honor and respect ourselves and have these boundaries, not because we're better than anyone else or we're above anyone else. That's all illusion. But because we're honoring what is best for us and maybe our energy, the integrity of our energy in each moment. And that's going to change from day to day. And that's going to displease people. There will be people that won't like you for whatever you stand for, your beliefs or your boundaries. How often are you saying yes when you want to say no? Where, you know, this video is really also about loyalty and, you know, how often are we loyal to others before we are loyal to ourselves? I was thinking about it this morning actually when I was getting ready for clients and doing my makeup, and I'm a year of the dog and very loyal. And I have been, there are so many different instances in my life where I've been way too loyal for way too long to people, to situations, to experiences. And I'm not saying people were doing anything really bad or, you know, abusing me or whatever, and I wasn't like staying in a relationship because, but there's just that sense of like we stay loyal to situations, to things, to the way people are behaving, or we enable behaviors because we want to be liked and we want to be loved and we want to fit in. And all of this is not good for our physical human body, for our nervous system, our immune system, and especially for our digestive system. I want you to think for a moment how much you digest down things that you want to say that you don't say or that you don't express because you have to fit into someone's box of you, someone's expectation. Now, we've all had so many experiences through our childhood, through our schooling years, maybe from grandparents. I mean, so many things have happened to us all. And it's not even necessarily huge traumatic events. It's, you know, the incremental, you know, 10, 20, 30, 100, 2,000 things, and things not just happening like a physical thing, but things that we interpret energetically. Like someone doesn't have to say something to us. We can read body language. We can feel it, sense it. We're sentient beings with these 5 senses and then, you know, our extrasensory perceptions. And what's happening is this deep rise, this deep liberation that wants to take place for all women or men, all whatever gender, non-gender, for every human expression that's on the earth plane, to be liberated, to allow the sense of freedom to come through, to be unique, to feel the specialness of ourselves, and like not to need anyone else to complete us, to come into a heart unity. And I just had this beautiful soul reading session with the client, and there was just this deep energy that came through and all of these codes around her heart unity. And now sort of, I guess, sort of second chapter of her life, or act 2, 3, 4, whatever, where she's stepping more into her divine service. And she's a beautiful and, you know, creative, vibrant, successful, dynamic, just in awe of this woman. And to have this message come through was not just for her, but it was for me, for all of us, to remind us of the continual embodiment that we're having as we keep, you know, uptaking, you know, what's the word? Understanding and recalibrating with our light quotient, and integrating more of that light spectrum that we're all on, that truth, and being able to sort of find our voice, not just through here and here, but the voice of our heart, the song of our heart. And I did touch a little bit on this in you know, another video, the humanness video. But this really is another call to check in with yourself, how much you're justifying yourself, what you do, what you want, what you don't want. Where are you apologizing for yourself? Stop the sorry word unless you really actually do something that needs sorry. Notice how your life changes. Notice how your energy changes, your shift changes, and how you create a stillness and a centeredness in your body. How you become more present to what you're saying, because words have an energy. They have a spelling. is made up of letters and alphabet and words and phrases. It all ripples out to the universe and back. Just have a nice deep breath in for a moment. I want you to acknowledge that it's okay for you to have tears, to have rage, to have angst, to have grief, to have sadness, to have worry, to have confusion, to have whatever the heck you want. And without needing to justify or apologize, liberate yourself, free yourself, see yourself, hear yourself. And on that note, you know, apologizing for crying, it's something I see all the time, like, especially on, like, you know, I very rarely ever watch the news, but, you know, I watch YouTube videos and, you know, things that people are sharing around, and I'm, you know, touched by it. And, like, for example, we've just had the bushfires, you know, in Australia. We've still got bushfires at the time of making this. And, of course, there's some really sad videos and people crying, the devastation. And then, like, every single time someone's crying on a news thing, or even, I've seen it in movies, I see it, like, people on live streams that are being vulnerable. And, you know, we're in this age of being transparent and vulnerable, being ourselves. You know, like, I've cried on videos, I've cried on live streams, I've cried with clients, and, like, I just don't apologize for it anymore, because I really got that when I was apologizing for crying, I was apologizing for feeling. I was apologizing for experiencing my humanness, my connection to people, to the divine, to an experience, to something. I was apologizing for being myself. So next time you cry publicly or with a friend, or you're sharing and that friend's holding space for you, or your boss or a parent or whatever, don't apologize for crying and feeling and being. Catch yourself. Or if you do say it, you can say, cancel, clear, delete. It is safe for me. It is perfect, divine, and whole for me to express my emotions. No more justifying, no more continually suppressing, stuffing down, digesting, suffocating, strangling, stagnating. Liberate yourself. Liberate yourself. Just looking at a note that I'd written down. Allow yourself to be flawed, flawsome, imperfect, perfect, and divine. Thank you so much for receiving and connecting today. I hope this has hit a raw nerve or ignited you to go, hell yeah, kapow, kaboom, shazam. I love those words. And it's like, yeah, I've come through that. I did that for far too long, and I'm so with you, Vanessa. I'm really on top of that. I'm really present to it. I'm doing that. And I'm so proud of myself. Like, be really proud of how far you've come and what you've achieved in this knowingness, in this ability to be the expression of you. And look, I'm sure it's going to happen to me. We all have moments, we have human experiences. You're going to have them, I'm going to have them, where, you know, we falter and we stumble and we fall and we're brought to our knees because of A, B, and C, and D, and E to Z. And we may temporarily have the amnesia and fall into some of those old habits, conditionings again. But just pull yourself out of it. And, like, really inspire your friends to do the same, your soul besties, your, you know, human diamonds. And thanks for connecting here and sharing, and thanks for just walking beside me on the journey. You know, most of us will never meet, but I hope that you can feel my heart through each video and my absolute, you know, passion to help you through some of the things that I've worked through so deeply, and to understand more about your human mind, your body, your soul, and just honor all that you are. Love you lots. Bye.